Hello, and welcome to another video. I am MTD if you are new, and we are about to get into all of the fun. Today, I am sipping on a 0-calorie black cherry sparkling water. This is really refreshing, something fun. Oftentimes, when I come on the channel, we may sip on a little something, especially when we get into our talks and our glams. And let me tell you something. Sometimes we may be sipping on some alcohol. Today we are keeping it nice and fresh because it's the new year and we are tipping into that snatch back season, okay? So today we are going to get into my top favorite TV black reality shows that I feel like y'all just need to get into it. We are basically going to do a Smokey look that's good for this upcoming Valentine's Day or any day where you just want to feel fucking fabulous. So let's get into it. Love and Marriage Huntsville is one of the first shows that we are going to speak about, and I love this show. Oh my goodness. When I tell you just the black business mind of couples that are pioneering in real estate, owning restaurants, t-shirt lines, and all types of things, and still trying to fight for love and stand for marriage and live within just the traditions on what love and marriage really is. Of course, it comes with a little bit of complication, but it's all black and it's on the OWN network. And let me tell you something, the OWN network is really doing its thing when it comes to a lot of these shows that I'm going to be speaking about. So we're going to get into one of the most popular couples on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And we all know who that is, especially if you're one of the girls that watch. Melanie Holt. Oh, I'm sorry. She changed her last name. Melanie Rogers, I believe. And Martell Holt. They started off the whole chaos with the demise of their marriage within maybe the second season. Melanie is just one of those women that is going to stand on her hard no, and whatever is pretty much just a factor of I'm not taking bullshit. This is Melanie. You know, she's a black woman. She's very independent. Even when she was within her marriage, you can tell that her independence was so strong. The moment that Martell did anything wrong, she was pretty much ready to call it quits, which is understandable. But I think for most men, especially with a personality like Martell, they feel like perhaps Melody could have stuck it out and fought for her marriage. But sometimes cheating which is one of the things that Martell is guilty of. Cheating in a relationship, cheating in a marriage, sometimes it's someone's hard no. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to work out. Not all the time is a woman going to stick by your side just because you like to say that you made a mistake, or two, or three, or four, especially when another child is brought into the world from your infidelity. So we love Melody for her independence, her voice, you know, being that strong woman that we all aspire to be. And for her, I think the message that we all learn is that you can still thrive alone, even if you have a whole slew of kids, you know, by this man. That doesn't mean that you're binded to him forever, especially once he breaks a promise or a vow. You can basically find a way out of it. And I love how throughout her, you know, her fight more so, you can tell that, yeah, it did bother her. There was some love there. And I think a lot of times we don't get to see her breakdowns, because I think on a lot of reality shows, we see how women just fall apart. They're so upset. They can't even deal with the idea of walking away from a marriage or someone they thought they loved. With Melody, she holds it together very well to the point where we really see that even though she's affected, she has like this I don't care attitude, and she pulls through in just such a strong way. She's kind of like our superhero for just the poster child of doing what you got to do to get rid of negativity out of your life. You know what it is? She literally used the what's love got to do with it type of mentality and said, I don't have to stick by you just because I love you. I can walk away from this bullshit, and even though I'm brokenhearted, I can find myself. Oh girl, she basically wound up having a wedding to herself when she changed her last name after the divorce. And she basically vowed to herself that I will always put me first. You know, I would never like let myself down again in terms of a lot of different things. So I think it's just very interesting how she does it. And I enjoy that part of Love and Marriage Huntsville. The other chaos in the show, of course, is Marcel. Now, the thing is, it's Marcel, and I'm forgetting the other guy name, but it's heavy on the M's on this show. I'm an M. MAKIAH, MTD, yes, I'm an M. But this show, it got a Marcel, a Melody. So there's another couple on this show where we have Letitia and Marcel. When I say they are what we call the top of the nonsense, they are basically they are the ones who stir the pot, basically. So I'm just using a wet towel and I'm just moving this makeup out of the way. When I say these two got so much shit going on that they can have a fucking show all by themselves and do very well, but it would probably completely diminish their love life because you have cheating, you have family feuds, you have restaurants and clubs and lounges and ideas and houses that's being built and shit. Like, they got so much going on. They are just doing the fucking most. So Letitia, to me, she's finding her voice, but she's becoming like, it's kind of like Johnny Come Lately with Letitia. Like, at the end of the day, we wanted you to have all this sass and this voice in the very first season when you were being walked all over. And now it's like the people that were kind of like in your corner are now the people that you have the biggest beefs with, right? So that's the whole issue with her. The one thing about this show is that we constantly gloss over how they are basically millionaires in this small town called Huntsville. They're making so much money. So it's very empowering. One thing I want to see more of is the business standpoint. Because here in the Black community, it's like sometimes we believe that there's only one way to get at a bag when there's multiple ways to get at the bag. And one of the hardest things to understand is real estate. And I think I would love to see more of them just talking about real estate, construction, and, how to pioneer and opening and building your own business. And I believe that this show, we focus so much on the toxicity and the nonsense that we never get to say, hey, these people getting in a bag in a very quick, unique way. And, it's something that we as the Black culture don't see enough of. So I wish that sometimes with a lot of these shows that we don't fall in love so much with the toxicity and the feuds and the fights, that we get to see the trade and the business and the educational kind of aspect of, hey, these people are entrepreneurs, they getting it out the mud, they're just like us, but what was the pathway to it? That's pretty much what I would love to learn about a lot of these shows that we're about to get into. So on this show, we kind of witnessed Kimmy, which is one of the cast members. She had went through a lot, to the point where, she got very, very sick. And although she was never really my top fave in the first season, because she came off as kind of like a mean girl, kind of straightforward, and her and Letitia just really kept bumping heads, and I felt like she never really gave Letitia like a fair chance. But this season, we got to see more of a vulnerable side with Kimmy, because of course, we all know that she has suffered from being sickly. And I'd rather not say what it is, because it's so tender, and I would never want to see any woman I know go through such thing. So when she became more vulnerable and more soft, I was just like, damn, like Kimmy really is more like a realist type of person. Like, the reason why she may come off so hard and so blunt is because she see things from like a real standpoint. So she may come off oftentimes a bitch. But this season, we started to see what really was going on with her. Her husband, which at one point in time, I thought he was a good guy. And I don't think that really changed much. But I didn't enjoy when she was mentioning how her diagnosis and her sickness was causing her to feel like she wasn't in the mood all the time for sexual activity. And I think for men hard nose are basically sex off the table. Oh no, that's when they feel like they want to run and find, that source somewhere else. But for Kimmy's situation, for it to be like such a, like I said, it was very sensitive, and you didn't want to kind of disturb what she had going on as far as her healing process. So I was really let down by how her husband chose to basically go about forcing sex into the relationship in such a vulnerable time of their marriage and Kimmy's life. So that's when I started to kind of feel for her, because it seemed like he was just on the page of, hey, sex is a pretty much a mind thing. You should be able to do it in or out of your mind. You should still be able to do it. And she's like, listen, physically, I am not even getting excited for sex. I'm not in the mood for it. And I feel like over the past year or so, I know that it's so hard to maintain a fun marriage and a fun relationship without sex. But I felt like, damn, sit it out. Your girl is going through one of the toughest times of her life. He was like, listen, I think you're just in your head about it. It's nothing for you to just lay there and let me do what I gotta do. In so many words. When I say he ruffled the girl's feathers, like everybody on social media that watched this show was like, He's nuts. Nobody is just going to lay down and just have sex with you just because that's what you want to do, whether there's a ring on my finger or not. So that was like one of the heights of the show, where we got to see how men really need to learn what really goes on with women when we're experiencing certain ailments and sicknesses, and even age could be a factor or something like that. Your body just changes. Sometimes you're just not in the mood. Okay, so I just think that was something that he needed to learn. Of course, he walked away as if he understood how disrespectful it sounds when it came to, oh, just have sex with your woman, whether she wants to have it or not. But I don't want to coerce you into respecting what I say. And I don't want to be scared that you're going to tip off and go entertain someone else or do something else. If I say that I don't want to have sex, I don't want to have sex. Yes, I may have to answer to a few things because I'm in this marriage, but you have to have an understanding. If I get sick or something like that, sometimes sex is not even on my fucking mind. And that's just what it should have been. And I think maybe we was expecting a Melody response out of the whole situation, but Kimmy, you know, she kind of said it in so many ways, but it seemed like she was just trying to fight for, yes, the energy to do it. And then, you know, she just wanted him to understand that sometimes our bodies just do different things. So they had to go to therapy. Of course, he had to hear it from a professional that, yes, this is one of the things that you go through when you get sick and things of that nature, and you don't want to have sex, and it's not on the top of your list, and you don't have the energy, and you are tired. And there was just a fight for the audience to understand that, yeah, he is somewhat still a good guy, but golly, like, we just like to think that there's one person on the show that is, from a male standpoint, that really can be like thorough, like, okay, I'm a good dude. At the end of the day, my wife want to do something. I don't have to always be pouncing on her to feel the love. But in his case, he was just horny. So that's one of the interesting things about this show, is that you get to see all different things. It reminds you of Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? You really get to see all the different aspects of marriage within this season. You see, yes, the infidelity, you see the divorce, you see the sickness in the marriage, you see where people have different illnesses and things of that nature. You also see where people are fighting for understanding, fighting for reason, and you also see where families start to intertwine into things with Marcel and Letitia. So Letitia has this family member, and she pretty much came up with this girl. It's her cousin. In the show, it's, you really start to see how two people can grow apart from one another, and pretty much Letitia's cousin is like kind of like a split image of her in terms of identically, they kind of look alike, but they're not sisters. They're just simple cousins. You know what I mean? That came up together, you know, and they probably was at one point each other's best friend throughout childhood, but in adulthood, it's just a little different. I think her cousin looks at it as, hey, she came up, she's on this amazing show, and I want to be in that limelight. And I think Letitia wasn't really for it or against it. She kind of was just like in her own thing, and here come her relatives. You know what I mean? And for her to be such a kind of timid type of individual, her family is basically with the shits. So once her cousin seen that, hey, Letitia doesn't want to be bothered with me, I don't know why, you know, but I want to get up in her face about it. I basically want to ask her what's tea. Or I'm not even feeling her husband. Her husband's a fucking cheater, so I heard, allegedly. And she just want to address all the smoke. So I think what happens is for you to address smoke, you have to be prepared for somebody to come back at you with the rah-rah. And boy, does the rah-rah kind of slap her in the face, even karma-wise, past creeping up on her, everything. So the cousin has a history with drugs, recreational drugs, hard drugs. We're not going to say hard drugs, but recreational drugs. She has a past with it. And prescription or non-prescription drugs as well. Now, here's the thing. Y'all ever heard of the saying, if I don't come for you, don't come for me type of thing? Baby girl was coming for Letitia's and Marcel's marriage. And at the end of the day, you started, there has to be a finisher. So Marcel has the smartest mouth known to men. And at the end of the day, he started pulling cards once he seen that she had signs that her sobriety is not what we thought, that she's not all the way clean, that she's getting more and more messy. So whether the allegations on the infidelity within the marriage was true or not, he just shot back at it like, oh, are you high? Are you fried? When the last time you popped the pill? Like, just coming for her. So I think in the efforts of her fighting for the friendship that she thought she once had with her cousin, she kind of ran into being gossipy, messy. She wound up on the news for being accused of stealing. And along with the stealing, they started to think, okay, if you're doing this type of behavior, did you kind of slip back into your old ways? So a lot of things kind of came out of that from her just trying to voice, hey, I want the love of my cousin again. I want us to be cool again. And everything just started to slap her in the face. So I think for her, when she finally got to sit down with her cousin, her family, her blood, she didn't get the response that she wanted. And the response turned into full-on altercation to where she's now throwing drinks. And she like, okay, if y'all not going to answer me into the change of things or what's up, I'm going to cause some fucking ruckus. And that's what she did. But when that happened, of course, it didn't make shit no better, right? There's another young lady on the show, and she's fairly new, is Stormy. Stormy is managing to have an issue with one of the popular couples that always has an issue, which is Marcel and Letitia. Stormy is an entrepreneur. She is one of the girls that is a part of the hair community, the hair growth community. She has all of the things. If I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, as far as the girls that watch, she's pretty much a pioneer. She's like in the whole realm of kaleidoscope. She's just in the whole realm of the hair gang, the hair growth community. She sells hair products. So she's pretty much a fucking, boss. Like she's a fucking millionaire at the end of the day. I don't know if all of that made her think that when it came to a pop-up shop or an event, that because she's such a boss and because she makes so much money, that she shouldn't have to pay for a booth at an event. But that's pretty much what it came down to. So when this happened, Marcel, which is the messy guy that's basically with the shits, he walks up to her, and he is the host of this event, and he says, hey, the booth fee or table fee is $100 or more. We have not gotten your payment. Me being a business owner, I wouldn't really see the issue in that. Right now I'm using LA Colors, and this is a face primer. I'm going to put it all over my lid. a lot whiter than my normal concealer from AOA. I don't feel like there's an issue with approaching somebody the day of, before, midway, and saying, hey, there's a payment that needs to be made. As long as he wasn't super aggressive, right? So, of course, she made it seem like, hey, now is not the time. You should have asked me for that later. I didn't know that it was something that I had to pay. I don't know why she felt special. An event is an event. You know, there's always someone that does not know completely about your business. So I don't see why she felt as though she didn't have to pay. But you do, sis. You really, really do. So that led to a line of petty shit. And long story short, they had this beef since he walked up to her, approaching her about this money. And she pretty much gave him just equal sauce right on back. And I think in this situation with Marcel, I think while he was trying to just make an effort to get the money that was necessary for the event, just to make some type of return, I think for the most part, it was more so he's already with the shits, but I think he just met his match, because she got into a whole thing of where she's basically calling him a bitch every 5 minutes. Like, for me, I don't know. I think right or wrong or indifferent, I'm going to stick beside my man. Like, that's my man. I'm going to stick beside him. And for Letitia to hear Stormy calling her husband a bitch umpteen times, it just wouldn't have worked for me. But for somebody else, go on here. But for me, I'm going to defend my man. Like, if I can ride for a homegirl, ride for a friend, you know, go hard in defense mode, I can do the same thing for my man. And I think this is where we start to test Letitia's gangster, because it's more so like, at this point, why are you constantly letting this young lady play you like that, and also play and disrespect your husband? So it just gets really, really spicy. If you like, basically, how do I say it? If you like that arrogance and that kind of like dry humor, you'll love this show, because it's subtle ways of basically disrespect, but it is entertaining in some capacity. So right now, I'm just going to fan it out. I love to blend as I go. Now, I'm no makeup artist, as I always say, but I love to have fun with makeup, and I love to DIY almost everything when it comes to fashion, makeup, hair, everything. So I'm just going to blend it out. So y'all let me know in the comments, if another woman calls your man a bitch or basically pulls his cards in any type of way, are you open to letting it fly? And also, before I close out on Love and Marriage Huntsville, I also feel like Stormy was basically looking for Marcel to give her some type of response enough for her husband to basically finish him. But I think her husband kind of has more of a show it more than say it type of personality. Like, I'm here, I'm big, I'm present, I'm beside you. He's not going to say anything disrespectful to you, because clearly this is not what he does. But I don't think enough of this bullshit is going to ruffle my feathers for me to put hands on him. And I think in that situation with Stormy, is like, she was starting so much shit as far as just trying to put Marcel in his place, that she really thought that her husband would come in and just clean it up. That's what I felt like. And for her husband, honestly, I don't think you're gonna get that out of him. I just don't. So now that I pretty much set my face for color, all right, so now we're going to go ahead and get right on in chasing Atlanta. Now I'm going to take a dark pencil. This dark pencil is by Kiss. I have 1,000,001 pencils. All of them have different type of hues. Some of them are light, some of them are dark. This is my darkest one, and it is the KWEP01. Now I'm going to go ahead and create some type of wing, and we're going to go over it with an actual liner, but this is where I want to start to indicate my smoke. So I'm also going to create like a moon, crescent moon, right on the depths of my lid. So Chasing Atlanta is a very interesting show, and it started to derive from Chasing Dallas. I love the Dallas cast, but I really do adore the Atlanta cast. I feel like they're a little more seasoned as far as the fun and youthful culture. I feel like the Dallas, they're a little bit more conserved. They really don't get that bucky. But they still get kind of catty. But this here, Chasing Atlanta, is a fucking vibe. So this is a part of the LGBTQ community, heavily on the gay and trans community. And hey, at the end of the day, they are some bad bitches. When I say we have Willa, Kendra, and I'm gonna put some images. Willa and Kendra, they give off realness. Now, although I am a full-on straight female, I know a lot of the lingo. I have a lot of best friends that are colorful and in the pride community. And listen, they taught me when you are looking good and giving face and realness, you just gotta give the respect. You gotta tell them, hey baby, you doing it. And Willa is doing it. Willa, let me tell you something. Willa is so into her, Willa is so into her spirit and her peace and her own type of grown woman type of business. Baby girl has been rocking her natural hair on the show, no makeup on the show. That's how much realness that Willa is giving off. Willa is a baddie, okay? So I love her. One of the most popular cast members, and a lot of people have seen him, is Oliver. Oliver is what you like to call the modern social media diva. Like, you have to be of a certain caliber for him to, number one, give a fuck or pay attention to you. And I think on this show, he has a lot of people wanting his attention. And if you know his way and how he move, he has to give a fuck. If he does not give a fuck, it's not gonna happen. So I love the show. One of the producers is Reese G. He is Black, queer, and just about his business. He did make an effort to be on the show, especially on the Dallas one. But I think it's just a conflict of interest for him. He ran into so much drama being on the show that I think he adores just play in the background, The show is exclusively on YouTube, I believe, and it's just so fucking good. So this season, the meat of the matter is just like clearing the air of course, owning your shit, they have gained such a popularity to where they're pretty much living the life that they wanted for, for a very long time. We have people on the show that sing, and motivational speakers, and fashion designers, and social media personalities, hairstylists, all types of things. So I think at this point, everybody is like, I'm hot shit. I don't necessarily need the nonsense and the rah-rah. It's a lot of clearing the air. And in efforts to clear the air, you may have to put some people in their place and say, hey, fuck you. I got a lot of shit going on. Who gives a fuck about this? And things pop off. So this is kind of like the tail end of the season. Of course, a few fights has popped off, and I don't want to spill too much, but just know that some of the fights are kind of warranted. Like, it's like, hey, I'm gonna have to knuck and buck for you to fall the fuck back. That's how I feel about this season. Addressing bullshit, knucking and bucking because you ain't falling back enough. Now, one of the new cast members is Tonka. And Tonka, when you hear the word Tonka, think about it. What it sound like? It sound like a big old Mack truck that's sexy as fuck. And that's Tonka, period. So Tonka is one of the big girls and just the most beautiful personality that I've seen in such a long time. Not pretentious, not overdone, just basically humble and like a good person. And I think that's something that a lot of these shows need. Somebody that's humble and a good person. So Tonka is on the show and he's vulnerable from the rip. He states that, he's having little issues with, his health, and he wants to come down on some pounds, and he may not be able to do it naturally because at this point there must be something, privately that he discussed with his doctor that's going on to where he wants to take care of it right now. So on the show, he pretty much goes through a process of weight loss surgery, basically. And in the midst of this weight loss surgery, and what really ruffles the girl's feathers is that he falls for one of the most messiest characters on the show, which is King Kane. Now, Tonka and King Kane, the names alone don't really reign as hard. King Kane is this puny, messy young bull that really likes to have a lot of colorful fun with almost any and everybody, which leads to a lot of physical tussles. And yes, he falls for Tonka. Yes, Tonka falls for him, but the true colors kind of show up. So Tonka is going through one of the most pivotal times of his life where he's pretty much in a health scare and he's focused on it. Although he's falling in love, he's forgetting who the fuck he is in terms of reading people well. And I think in this sense, he is not really reading King Kane well. King Kane ain't shit. And everybody knows it. King Kane apparently has been sleeping with Oliver, allegedly, or making out, hooking up, whatever you want to call it. There has been some sexual exchanges or just ideas transferred between the two, and they never indicated what exactly happened. That's why I'm trying to incorporate it and not incorporate it at the same time. But apparently Oliver is like, well, I didn't know that you and Tonka had this thing going on, and do I need to fucking back off? King Kane goes to say, no, you know, we're good. It shouldn't be a thing. Didn't it become a fucking thing? So Tonka has now had this surgery, and parts of his body is very, I want to say, sensitive, to where he's not supposed to be in the midst of drama. Now we're going to go in with our Mollywood. So Tonka is basically unaware of anything that has gone on between Oliver and King Kane. And they're all at a party. And a lot of shit pops off at parties, probably because these people probably don't link up and meet up outside of these events where they're paid to fucking be there. So Tonka is there, and he's like really in his own world, as he always is. He's minding his business, being cute, being chocolatey, being fabulous. And apparently this event is hosted by King Kane. King Kane is walking around and being flirty-gurty. Typical him, but Tonka is learning the error of this motherfucker ways. Child, King Kane goes to whisper to Oliver and goes to say, I should have chose you, and I don't know what I was thinking, and all this bullshit. Oliver, the typical diva, too good to fight, too good to tussle, is highly fucking offended, because in this exchange of love and confessions from King Kane is now touching all over his bottom parts, grabbing him, suggesting that they hook up secretly, like right there and right now. And it's a whole party going on. So everybody is there, but nobody is seeing how Oliver is being what he calls sexually assaulted. So it all comes out at the party. And what we know of Oliver and how he's supposed to be so this, so that, he now stands up for himself and he whoops King Kane's ass. I mean, walks him like a fucking dog. They rolling in the grass outside of this Airbnb. Everybody is now coming out of the party and words are being exchanged. And Tonka has no clue what the fuck is going on with his new boyfriend and Oliver. So Tonka is standing there holding his, body, because now he's very aware of himself, and he's saying, I just got out of surgery. I can't be in the mix. He just stepped to the side. Oliver then says, all of the things that this man has been whispering throughout the night. And Tonka, you just see his face just melts, because he's just like, damn. Was I this vulnerable that I couldn't see that these people was telling me that this nigga ain't shit, and here I am standing by his side, and he's basically playing me, creating more of an insecurity now that he's battling with his weight loss, and this shit, it's just so unnecessary. So that became a thing, and that's kind of how the season is kind of coming to a close. All the while at the party, we have our classic Kendra, which is just, Kendra is a vibe within herself, and sometimes she can be her own downfall. But Kendra stands up for what's right. She's kind of like the mother. You ever heard of like a house mother? She's basically a mother when it comes to telling the girls to get it the fuck together. Y'all in here fighting, y'all tussling. It's so much.
Damn it. And that's the point right there. It's time together, goddammit. Every motherfucking thing that we trying to do, everybody do something. Willa do the hair, Oliver do the create, everybody do everything. The talent is right here. The problem is, we can't come together. So how the fuck can we show that to anybody else? Amen.
We can be doing to get to the bag. Everybody has different traits and attributes, and at the end of the day, you got one girl doing the hair, which is Willa, which always gives the realness, and then you got Oliver, that's such a socialite, which is the one that's tussling in the grass with King Kane, and then you got Tonka, that's just he's a model, he's fabulous, he's tall, he's dark, he's everything, and then you just got all the girls. You got movie stars on the episode. It's a whole girl that played in P-Valley on.
Talk about no show I've been on, no show that I'm about to be on, or I can't post anything. It sucks in the sense that we can't really celebrate our victories. At least
everybody got all these things that can pull you up, and here it is. Everybody just want to do their own fucking thing, and that's why shit results into tussling in the goddamn grass. So now, this is what we have been longing for, is the sound and the reason, which is Kendra. But Kendra is known for doing the same motherfucking thing. And when we say same thing, she is known for fighting, really, Oliver. So Oliver has it out with everybody, even people that don't have a problem finds a problem with Oliver. And that is also one of the things that he mentions on the show when he says, people think that I'm the main fucking character, that's why they come for me. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, I will say that. So it's just mighty interesting how whether it's the straight community, the gay community, the trans community, whatever, you do still run into problems where, yes, I do feel like if we work together, we can get further. Yeah, we can be millionaires, but can we be billionaires too? And I think the only way that that's going to happen is if you just stick together. I'm just going to try to clean up this area. So notice that as I go, I always blend. Like, the more you blend, the fucking better. So we're going for a smoke. I'm looking for a heavier gold. Even though this gold was pumping, the Mollywood ain't bad, but I feel like the Mollywood has lighter hues or lighter palettes because it may be for a lighter girl. If you know, you know. So we're gonna try to just pile on some of that goldish silver a little bit more. Okay. And this time we're gonna do the makeup all the way through. It may be a longer video, but I have some watchers that say, hey, I want to actually see the makeup from beginning to end. And I'm with the shits. I'm with the shits if you watching from beginning to end, because analytically I need it. So oh, we ain't been sipping. That's why my mouth is dry. Make sure you sip. Make sure you sip. So another thing is, in the beginning, remember I was talking about Willa. Reason being, I'm so proud of Willa. I'm so proud of Kendra. Is because I feel like they went through so much into their womanhood, because The girls are addressing themselves as, of course, cis or trans women, and they want to be addressed as such, but it's so hard. And I think life can beat you down and your mind can fight you at times. And there was one point when a lot of the cast members were like, I'm not enjoying being here. And it's like, that's when you want to be even more supportive, because these people are battling such major things that's beyond just sexuality. It just starts to fight with their whole psyche, and they just start to kind of like not love themselves as much. But when I see them this season, they're more confident, more bossy, more like in their shit or maintaining their peace. Like Kendra took some time and she walked the fuck away from the show. Check or no check. You know what I mean? She like, fuck this. And I enjoyed seeing Kendra's growth. I still feel like she needs a little bit more growth, because I feel like she thinks that it has to be one way, when I feel like her motivational speaking is everything. That can take her to a whole bunch of heights. But when I see them and they're natural this year, Kendra not wearing the wigs. Kendra is rocking a shortcut, blonde hair. Willa is rocking a ponytail. What? The girls is coming out of the wigs this year, okay? We like, fuck a lace. Fuck the makeup. They doing the fucking thing. So it's just like, I feel like, I don't know what the process is, because hormones come into the whole episode as well, with one of the cast members that's transitioning. But I feel like the way they carry themselves, it's just tapping so much into realness and the real essence of who they want to be and what their soul really speaks. And it's just like, wow, y'all turning into some bad bitches. I mean, come on, we just gotta give it to them. They turning into some bad bitches. You take the spoolie and you just move your eyelashes out the way. You don't know how much this saves the integrity of your lashes, either with glue or any other product. It just kind of like keeps them out of trouble, basically. Now, I still fight with a wing. So if you get up close on a girl, the wings don't be winging. They be winging, but they be winging different ways. So I'm just gonna take my fucking time. I will say this, once we come out of the Chasing Atlanta segment, is that Oliver really is not my favorite character on the show. I don't know. It's just like, it's something that he doesn't realize how arrogant he is. The first season, he was super arrogant. Super arrogant. Like, but oftentimes the biggest personalities can be the biggest dickheads too. I think my favorite person on the show will always be the big girl. Okay? And that's Tonka. And then Chasing Dallas, my favorite one was Reese G. Reese G, them fucking eyes. Reese G eyes are snatched. It's like a fresh pair of braids back in the day. And the way his eyes sits. Yeah, Reese G. And that was Tonka. I love Tonka. Okay, so That's my favorite character this time. Okay, come through, Wing. Come through. Ooh, 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 ooh. Our next show that we're going to talk about is Bella Collective. Is another show that I thoroughly enjoy. If you can't tell, I love the idea of entrepreneurship, boss type of women, strong women, and it's based on 5 beautiful Black women in Mississippi, and they call themselves, of course, the Bella Collectives, and they're trying to rehabilitate this historical block that was once owned by all Black African Americans. And in the efforts to do so, of course, you have some highs and lows of women getting together and coming together. Like Kendra said, if we come together, we can get further coming together than we can separate. But a lot of them try to do it independently. And you kind of have a rivalry between the two, where one woman wants to do it on her own, then another woman wants to do it on her own. And this historical block is so just rich in just culture, of course, entrepreneurship, being a business owner, that is just so important to so many people, but they're not seeing the idea of coming together. On every show you have a mean girl, right? So who's known to be more assertive and bossy is Marie. Marie is a business owner, a millionaire basically. She basically helps people with substance abuse find some type of resolution and rehab. The background of her life is very relevant, and it correlates very well with pretty much what she's already in business of. Her mother struggles with basically substance abuse. But the only thing is she's unable to kind of help her mother. And I think that's where a lot of her kind of snappy and kind of short way of handling conversations and people comes from, because she's dealing with a mother that goes in and out of sobriety constantly. And one of the most humbling things is her efforts to change that. But her temperament for everybody else, old girl is ready to whoop almost everybody ass on the show every 5 minutes. So, and you have a rivalry between 2 young ladies on the show for Fair Street, basically. So in efforts for the girls to get Fair Street, it's just tough. And I think they fight with the city for this piece of land, and nobody winds up getting it. And Marie is basically in between the 2 girls. She has a girl that she wants to see her own Fair Street for sure. You know, they're best friends, they're pretty cool, they're like-minded, and I don't think she really has a bone in the fight, but she does wind up speaking her mind to one of the young ladies and say, you know, you're still in the blueprint in which my friend has going on for Fair Street. Marie gets into a tussle about unseen things, you know. But what always reigns and wins over is the scandal of someone's falling relationship or marriage. And that is Latrice. The marriage is still there. However, it's the most complex nonsense between Cliff trying to control Latrice and pretty much make her feel like she's on some type of leash with him, And then you have Latrice, which is a salon owner, a brand owner of hair pieces. And she's such an amazing businesswoman. But when it comes to her marriage, this man literally tries his best to control her. And a lot of people are seeing that there's an error in that other than her. And Marie chimes in from time to time because her and Latrice is known for having tips. And it all gets gully. With all of that being said, it's still one of the most interesting shows. But like I say, and like I've been saying, it would be nice to see people coming together because that would better teach us how to come together. I think a lot of these shows start off as entrepreneurship, Black people reigning and doing their thing and pioneering. But then by the time we get to the meat of the matter, it's not even the case end point. It's stubbornness, it's jealousy, it's competition, it's nonsense that now we're just feeding our eyeballs confrontation constantly. And I think that that's what this show has turned into. Drying down, I'm gonna clean underneath my brows with a nice kind of, I don't even see my favorite underbrow thing, but we're gonna go in with the iconic shade. Iconic. Now, I don't know where I started to wear this down because I don't remember rocking as much, but half of the time these things fall over and you lose a lot of the product. But it's like a nude shade. And I just go under where it looks really, really chalky under my brow. And I make it look very natural and skin-like. That concealer just holds it all day, basically. But it makes it look really smooth and polished. So we're just waiting for that eyeliner to dry. And we're just cleaning off that chalky look. And y'all already know what's next. Blending it. So yeah, so the show is good, like I said, but it gets so catty to the point where we never really see any resolve. And it's like they don't tap much into the business. And I think it saves the integrity of the business though. Like if I don't constantly show you like my business awning, I don't show you too much of the mission, I don't show you too much of the backstory, I'm not showing you what's in the account necessarily, I'm not one-on-oneing with my clientele in front of you, it kind of saves the integrity of the business. Yes, see the difference? It looks more natural. So it kind of saves the integrity, but damn, when the fuck are y'all gonna get it together enough to where we don't look crazy out here? We don't look like these women is always going at each other's jugular. Like, that's my whole thing. This is always a game changer, and this is something I've been doing for the past couple years. This is what makes my eyebrows look natural. I do like a meteor type of brow, but pencil brows are coming big. I don't know why, but they coming big, child. The Bella Collective, one of their main characters Tisha is one of the main characters on the show, and I'm going to go in with that black dark pencil, and I'm just going to create a little palette because I need a little bit more smoke. I already started over here to where I'm just kind of blending a little bit, and you're not seeing much of the wing because the wing is so jinky. But notice how I'm just like placing a little bit of the dark black right near and gradually towards some of that goldish silver, and that's it. You don't have to go crazy. And then we're going to blend out our brush to where it's almost nothing on it, and then we're going to blend that period. So Tisha is one of the main characters. She's one of the bossiest girls when it comes to just bringing the group together. She has a lot of things going on in her life. You know, she's trying to reestablish her marriage, what's left of it, and she has written a book on some of the trials and tribulations within her marriage. So at this point, this season, she's kind of in and out more so, because there was a time and point in her marriage where it seemed like she was ready to just call it quits, because she probably didn't think that it could salvage through all the cheating that her husband was doing. But they're showing up to more things together. They're working together. They're trying. But her efforts for Fair Street kind of slipped in the cracks because of the simple fact that she was going through so much in her marriage. So at this point, she has like this I don't care-ness to her, because I think one of the things that rained her confidence was when she was going for Fair Street. Now she may be without Fair Street, but she's definitely with her marriage. And she kind of said it. She said, without a friendship with my husband, without the love from my husband, I'm nothing. So it was clear that at one point the fight was going to kind of ease up with her competition, because she was going to fight for that marriage or what she could get out of it. So now she's sitting on her throne on the reunion, and she's just really kind of like saying, I'm the queen whether I shake shit up or not. That's really like one of her kind of clapbacks and stuff, but it kind of makes her look kind of mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm disappointed with the show at this point because we didn't see enough of that boss, you know, kind of mentality that she had. And it did kind of disappoint me in a way, because we always have a mean character, a messy character, an entitled character, and a new character. So Gucci is one of the new characters. When I say So Gucci, her name, yes, is a fucking mess. She kind of showed a lot of class when it came to a lot of situations. Even though she had to whoop somebody's ass on the show, she showed a lot of class to me that a lot of the girls really didn't show. She showed that she was a businesswoman. She showed that she stood for respect over anything. And her marriage seemed to be, although they have issues with her husband's ex thing, they seem to be, you know, solid. Like, they get along with one another. I enjoyed So Gucci. But what I didn't like about the incident with So Gucci was Latrice. And Latrice kind of gets a lot of backlash, but some of the stuff you later learn that she picked that fight. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, she said some shit or she did some shit. or something like that. So sometimes we can't save everybody. So yeah, so that's how I feel about this show. It's a shame that I can't say much about it because it turned out to be so catty this season that I think the only content that we got out of it was the catty shit. Like, we really didn't even get to see much of the healing process in which Tisha is trying to obtain because it was so fucking catty. But so Gucci's husband, that ponytail is epic. Like, when I say the only person I know that can pull off a oni tail, is this man. Like, this man is a piece of fucking work. He was a piece of work when he was on the other show too. So now we done got into the Smokey eye. The Smokey eye is pretty much complete. I'm not gonna keep carrying on with this eye. I can clean it up a little more though. A little bit of coconut oil on that area just to soften up that makeup and break it up. Let it sit. And hopefully it will come off once I wash my hands. And what I like to do with my foundation, I like to kind of pat it around and then smooth out where I need it and then work my way in. You get what I'm saying? So the next show that I want to get into is Love and Hip Hop. This is everybody's favorite because we watched them for so long. We watched them grow. We watched them fall apart. We just know Love and Hip Hop so well. So with Love and Hip Hop, there's some shit going on always when the season is pretty much off camera. And I'm really going to hone in on the whole scrappy shit with B&B, Erica, all of the things. Why on earth is Scrappy and Erica married? Why? Why would a human being literally get divorced and in less than a year they're back up under and locked down to someone else? Why would a human being do something like that? What an interesting human, right? What's even more interesting is this is something that Erica allegedly said she did not want. She said she basically passed it up. She said no to a ring. Why is she back with him and why is she married to him? You have to be one interesting human to even do some shit like that to yourself. You already experienced it without the ring. You didn't need to lock down on anything to be stupid again. You already was stupid before. Honestly, I think because we don't know so much about these people's personal lives, I can't say what really caused the divorce between him and Bambi. But I mean, just looking at them and just even the way that they argue, you never seen Bambi hit the lid. Like, you know what I mean? It always seemed like she gave him grace. It always seemed like at the end of the day, there was love there. So I'm just so disappointed because it really seemed like this was her nigga. Like, and I just thought that was going to be it. But this Erica thing is starting to seem like the whole time you just wanted this man back, like, by any means necessary. Like, everything that you did is starting to seem kind of calculated now, but whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? We really don't know. Don't get me wrong. Erica is beautiful. I always thought she had like a model type of structure to her face. Bambi is beautiful. Bambi, them long legs, you know. I think Scrappy is the problem. Like, I think that whatever he says to women, however he does it, you know, whatever is his way to like get you and lock you down, he must do it so well that y'all get stupid. Like, y'all get so stupid. But what I will say, match factor, two people that's going through similar situations and they have even like the same kind of face when it comes to shit. When they tight for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Like, Scrappy been tight with Bam for a minute. And it's like, I feel like, old girl, Shay, I feel like Shay was his match. His mama really do know something, because they kind of going through the same shit. Like, I don't know, realizing they with the wrong person, and, you know, mothers not getting along with the partner, or in this case the spouse. Like, I feel like Scrappy, if you spin the block on anybody, I would have thought that it would have made sense for him to spin the block on Shay. But hey, you did what you wanted to do, right? So I don't know. So at this point, once I get my foundation on, I'm looking for, I love to go back in on the brow and brush them up. A little spiky plant or some grass, and how it's just kind of like spiky but kind of blow into the direction. You know what I mean? You just do a couple lines. Then you go over it with your spoolie, the tip of your spoolie, because you don't want to fade it away. You're barely touching your face, because those lines you want to kind of show it away, just in case it looked like kind of blotchy and weird. So yeah, we just want to clean up. Men need self-healing as well. You know how women break up with men? Women that got sense, they don't jump into something else immediately. This is where you start to see that men need to do the same exact thing. See how I'm just bringing it down? Oh, I can fix that. Yeah, I'm just bringing a lot of that makeup downward. This is the best way to blend stuff out, is first to bring it down. I don't want to swipe up because it's going to take away from the precision that I want. Does that make any sense? So yeah, this is where you really start to see, and you just blend out those lines right here. You really start to see that men need a little bit of growth too. I'm not the best on saying what to do for a man that needs to be single, that needs to grow, that needs to learn his soul again. I'm not necessarily even saying that that's scrappy, but when you go from person to person in such a short amount of time, it does kind of speak volumes. Like, hey, I think you need to slow down, but some people don't fucking listen. If so many people had to train you on how to love, shout out to Music Soul Child, Teach Me How to Love. If so many people had to show you that, then I'm gonna need you to show me what did you learn when it came to loving and learning yourself. Okay, so now I'm just wiping off one area, getting soft and clean, and then the other area need to be soft and clean now too. I use my hands so much. That coconut oil really did the trick though. Carly Red, I think it was supposed to be some type of understanding where Spice wanted to protect her privacy more so, and I'm lightly patting. I'm not smudging nothing in. This is a pat session. Pat. Yeah, so it's just like, I feel like, girl. The girl says she basically wanted to protect her privacy. Of course, she's going to bring her kids into it to make it seem more like, just to gather the girls, just to get people hype. Spice is going to say, oh, my kids is right there. Da, da, da. But why did you tell her where you lived at, you know? And if you felt as though she was a friend at one point, why is she no longer a friend now? Why is that a hard no for you? You know what I mean? For her buying that house, it's right near her. She probably entertains company that's not of certain status. So it's just like, damn, I just wish they could have got it together a little more. That's it. You know what I mean? Let me clean up the brow. I just wish that y'all could have got it together in terms of more establishing what it is you wanted out of that sacredcy of this is your home. I hate the fact that Carly Red either didn't respect that or she didn't get the clarity in which she needed to respect it. But it also started to seem like she didn't care too. So I feel bad for Carly. I'm kind of confused on what she thought the dynamic of the relationship was. But Carly keeps running into situations like this too, in both love and friendships. And I really want her to find her person. And I think in order for her to find her person in terms of friendship and love, I think it takes for her to find some maturity within herself. I think when she starts to show that, oh, I'm fun, I'm youthful, you know, I want to hang out, I want to do this, I think that's where it starts to take away from her, because they think that she's somebody to be played with. And I think if she starts to mature a little more, act her age, and I'm not coming at her age, I'm just saying act it at this point.